The objective of the conservative fund is to deliver stable returns above bank deposit rates, but with relatively low levels of volatility, lower levels of the swings and ups and downs as we go through a market cycle. Our overarching vision with this conservative fund is to bring to the KiwiSaver market an institutional grade offering where the conservative fund is built up from a number of different building blocks within those underlying asset classes, where each one is actively managed by a dedicated specialist team within that asset class. And that's a combination of in-house experts and people that we've appointed from around the world to work on behalf of our members. The conservative fund is designed for an investor with a relatively low tolerance for risk, that is the ability and the willingness to take on the invariable fluctuations you get in share markets. So this fund is nearly 80% invested in those defensive asset classes of cash and bonds, with just over 20% invested in those growth asset classes. So it's going to be for a person with a reasonably short investment time frame or not looking for a fund that moves up and down too much as we go through a market cycle. When we think about the conservative fund, we think about it as being a fund of funds built up from the building blocks. The building blocks being each of the asset classes, local Australasian shares, global shares, listed property, and then on the defensive side, cash and bonds, both locally and globally. And each of those different asset classes is managed by a dedicated team. I'm part of a 10-person investment team. Most of those folk are focused on the local asset classes, Australasian equities and listed property, or Australasian cash and bonds. But for the global asset classes, where we're thinking about a universe of tens of thousands of securities to choose from, we've appointed 5 external managers to look after those asset classes on behalf of our members. 1 for global bonds and 4 different managers for global equities. So as well as the 10 people here in Auckland, we've got over 350 analysts, portfolio managers in those different asset classes and different firms working for our members. Risk is managed both from top-down perspective and bottom-up perspective. That bottom-up or security selection piece is taken care of by those expert investors, again, either locally or globally. And from a top-down macro perspective, we're continually assessing where we think we are in the market cycle. And if we feel that the environment is one that's right for a strong period of share markets or equity market returns, we can overweight that asset class moderately and move the weighting higher, spend some of the cash. And similarly, if we think that the share market's due for a correction, we can lean away from that, build up our cash buffers and reduce that risk and volatility. This is an actively managed institutional grade conservative fund. The underlying funds that we've used as building blocks here have served our institutional clients very well for a number of years. By institutional clients, we're talking about not-for-profit entities, community trusts, insurance companies, New Zealand company pension plans. And by bringing those together in what we think is a robust and well thought out way, we think we've built a conservative fund here that's greater than the sum of its parts and will serve our members very well.